What's going on, Kent State? Welcome to BlackSquirrelRadio.com. If y'all don't know me and you just happen to be listening, I go by the name of Red Rum the DJ. It is Monday. It is 8 o'clock. Time for what I call Familiar Legacy Radio. If y'all listen to me a lot, you will know what that is. If you don't, you out the loop. I am here tonight. I got a special segment for y'all. I'm not mixing anything tonight. I got a lot of some special stuff that I want to talk about. I got some new stuff coming up, and I got some new people for y'all. If y'all are listening, you're either trying to know more or you know some, and you're just listening because I got somebody I'm cool with in the local music game. And with me tonight, I got my guy Jalen Hooks. I'm gonna throw him on real quick. Let him say what's up to y'all. Introduce himself.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? I'm Jalen, and I'm just one of them singing guys out here that y'all know.
Yes, sir. All right, so I wanted to bring Jalen in today, just talk a little bit of music. See what he's been up to. It's been a while since we linked. We did a couple shows, some things like that last year. But
at the Vortex.
Yes, sir. We got these mics all good. Yeah, we're all good. Hey, if y'all are tuned in, send us a tweet, send me a tweet, send Jalen a tweet, let us know. Instagram, whatever y'all want to do. But all right, Jalen, so let's talk, tell everybody about just like what you do with your music, your approach to it, who you are as an artist.
Who I am as an artist. I think that I am just a very relatable person, and I want that to reflect in my music. I talk about, love, something that everybody can experience. I talk about pain, sadness, again, stuff that everybody goes through. I just try to put as much of myself into my music as I can. I feel like a lot of people do that as artists, and I feel like that's just who reflects me the most.
Absolutely, man. So if you had to give yourself a genre, nobody likes to limit themselves, but for the most part, what genre would you say that your music falls under?
I would probably say it's indie alternative hip hop and R&B. I know that sounds like 4 different genres, but I really do bounce around, and sometimes I'm singing, sometimes I'm rapping, and sometimes it's a little bit different.
Absolutely. So how long have you been just kind of involved in music as a fan? When you started listening, what was what drew you to music? Who specifically, if anybody, anybody in your family or anybody you heard first that made you think, okay, I want to start kind of digesting music as a fan.
Man. So honestly, my roots in music as a fan go like deep, go way back to when I was real young. My mom, I grew up cleaning the house, listening to Santana, cleaning the house, listening to Prince. One of the first songs I ever started singing was "I Want to Know" by Joe, old R&B tune. It's real nice though. And then just going through life, different artists have always stepped out to me and have made me feel like this is what I want to do. My grandma, she was actually one of the first people to really kind of push me in the direction of music. She saw that there was something that I wanted to do, and she took me to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And honestly, that's one of the greatest memories of my life, going in there and just seeing the greatness displayed all over, It's just awesome, man. It's awesome.
Absolutely, man. So with that being said, you were exposed to music at a young age, and you discovered a lot of music, going to the the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, hearing stuff from your mom, your grandmother, things like that. So who would you say now that it's so much later in your career and just so much later in your life, who would you say, like, maybe top 5, 7, however many, just who are some artists like all time that you're just very like inspired by? Those are the people that you credit your music inspiration to, and you just love their stuff.
First and foremost, I gotta say Kid Cudi. The boy from Cleveland. Now, I think his work speaks for himself. I think everybody in this generation, everybody around the age that we are, has in some way or shape or form been impacted by Kid Cudi. You hear it every day. He saved my life. And I fall under that category. That's somebody that I grew up listening to. That's somebody that's helped me just through their music find myself and find happiness. absolutely love Maroon 5. I think Adam Levine is the coldest dude out. Somebody who I grew up, summers singing to. He would come up on Music Choice, and I would just start rocking and singing to. I really, really like Super Duper Kyle. He's an artist that's out right now. He's honestly probably my favorite rapper. Just the all-around energy that he has to him, the positive outlook on life that he has to him. He, again, is another artist who's influenced by Cudi. Man, there's just so many. When it comes to production and lyricism, like, I really rock with Nas and Kanye. These are artists who, again, growing up listening to just that sound. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, when you hear the stuff that they're saying, when you hear the beats that they're playing, I get goosebumps thinking about it right now, First time hearing those piano keys to Run Away, So those are some of the artists, growing up listening to. I love Prince. I mentioned that before. Michael Jackson, got to go with the classics. Just all around great, all around legends. Jimi Hendrix, too, is another one who the way that he played his guitar was as if he was making love to it. And that is just, to have that much heart and soul into something is just absolutely outstanding. It's something that I look forward to doing every time that I step in the booth.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, I noticed that you rock with a lot of the classic artists. When the R&B fans talk about who they're listening to coming up, it's the Princes and the Michael Jacksons and things of that nature. And when you get the heavy hip hop fans listening to the Kanyes and the Nas's and things like that. So that's a lot of those are the influencers. Those are the people that recreated the genre, made it their own, and that's what every musician wants to do, is take a unique approach to music. So who do you see doing that now? You got some people in the industry now that are just making their own wave. So of all time, you got a solid list there. But who's on your playlist day to day nowadays that you're listening to and you're rocking with for real?
Nowadays, honestly, I keep Kid Cudi on the playlist. Party Next Door. I think that whereas he might not get as much love, on his own stuff, his songwriting ability is out the park. I think Super Duper Kyle, like I said, another one that I keep on my playlist. Lately, though, however, I've been kind of branching off a lot more. I listen to a lot more female artists. I think that some of them coming up are just so cold, overlooked. Alina Baraz, Jessie Reyes, Sabrina Claudio. These are artists who, like, I feel like they just are doing their thing, and people are just overlooking them because they're not on, the radio as much as they would be. I mean, and if they are, they're on pop radios, I listen to a lot of stuff, man. I listen to everything. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of chill step. I listen to rock. I listen to rap. I listen to country. I love Luke Bryan. I think he is so dope. The way he gets up on stage and shakes them hips, crazy, bro. Love it. It's crazy.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, with the people that you try to, they influence you and you listen to their music and you relate to their music. Mm-hmm. If you're coming up, locally, so it's gonna be times where you're gonna be, having like placements for shows, and it's a lot of like support acts and opening acts. So if there's one artist that you think like their crowd would rock with you, the same way they would rock with them, and you kind of want the same like vibe, who do you think you'd be fit to open for, if they came to Cleveland on tour?
Oh my goodness. Going for the same sound, same vibe, honestly, Jaden Smith. It's kind of weird. It's kind of different.
I like it though. So why would you say Jaden Smith? What do you think? Similarities between how y'all perform and how y'all come together and how y'all sound. What would you think that would be a good fit for you?
His energy, his vibes, his all around, like, the way he carries himself and the way he does his music. It's different, but it's hitting where everything else is hitting. It's the same thing as it. You can see all of his influences in his music. He's always out tweeting, my big bro Cudi, my big bro Thug. Like, he's always referencing somebody, and I think that my music is kind of the show for that as well. Is like, I take bits and pieces from just what I've heard, what I've learned, what I've grown on, and I incorporate that not only from what I have in myself, but incorporate that into my music. And I think he's very similar in the way that he goes about his music. I think another artist that I would like to open up for would be, again, Super Duper Kyle. Like, I think I've seen his show, and he just has so much energy. He's bouncing off the walls. He's jumping around with his dude, and I feel like I'm very similar. I'm the same way. I just love energy and just being upbeat. It's great.
Absolutely, man. So, the people here that, are fans of mine, they haven't listened to, I'm bringing you on, introducing, you to them. So for those who kind of hear a little bit about you now and kind of, just how driven you are as an artist and, kind of what inspires you and, what motivates you, what's kind of, for those who haven't heard your music, we're about to throw one of your songs on right after you answer this question. But, for those who haven't heard your music, what would you explain, your style and, what are some topics that you talked to earlier? You talk about everything, you talk about heartbreak and, sadness and happiness and loneliness and all, everything that, you kind of go through and touch on, and you say you create relatable content. I thought that was super dope. So for someone who hasn't listened to Jalen Hooks' songs, what would you tell them about the style of it?
As far as the style, you're getting a little bit of me. And for those of the people who know me, you know what I mean by that. For those who do not, come around me and find out. It's anywhere from super upbeat, we're all over the place, we're happy, we're jumping around, and it's something that, all right, it's time to sit down, it's time to have a deep talk. It's time to see what's going on in your life, Tell me a little bit about what's going on, and I'll tell you, and I'll open up to you. It's, like I said, man, you're getting a little bit of me.
Absolutely, man. So that was About You by Jalen Hooks. Y'all can get that on SoundCloud. It's a hit, man. It's a hit. If y'all search that up, you're gonna find it. So, Jalen, being your biggest record, that's the one that kind of people know you for. Mm-hmm. I didn't know who Jalen Hooks was. I was on Twitter and it came up one day, and I'm into the vibe and the local music scene. So so I checked it out and I fell in love with the song, and I reached out to Jalen. So what was your inspiration, for that song? What you think about when you wrote it, and just kind of tell me how that's the one right now.
Honestly, and you'll see it, you'll read it, that you don't know what song's gonna blow up. You don't know what's a hit until it is a hit. I just remember I was sitting there because at the time my studio was my room, sitting there in my room, and I just kept over and over in my head, like, I want to talk about just this girl. I want to talk about, like, just this girl. At the time, there was no girl, but I was like, I just want to talk about this girl, and I want to tell everybody about this girl. And then, I was on YouTube looking up beats, like as a lot of up-and-coming people do, starting up, and I found this song. The chorus to it is Alexis Isley. She's actually, I don't know if you know who the Isley brothers are, but she's one of the Isley brothers' daughters.
How about that?
I know, right? And I found the beat, and I found it, and it was like instantly fell in love with it. And I was like, wow, like this is like, it's got such a nice vibe to it. It's smooth, it's popping, like, and I threw my vocals over top of it, and writing it just came so easy after that. I had the girl that I wanted to talk about, and I had the beat, and it just all came together for a beautiful song. So,
absolutely, man, absolutely. So, y'all heard the the first track that we're putting you on to, About You, by Jalen Hooks, and we have some more to play for y'all a little later. But with that single and with that song, I want to talk a little bit about discography. Just so y'all know, my man is not new to this.
No.
Jalen's been at it for at least 3 years,
yes.
Dropping projects for at least 3 years. So we'll start from the beginning. Just so y'all know, he has 44 records available on SoundCloud, which is a free app. It's all free downloads. Y'all can have the music.
For the people.
That's right.
Thank you, Chance.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the Love and Pain EP 6-track that you dropped about 3 years ago.
Man, that was It might say 3 years, but I swear it feels like it's been, longer. I started really recording music around my senior year. I've been writing a lot before that, but it was when I linked up with Kid Hallie that I actually started recording. Love and Pain, senior year, going through a lot of, high school heartbreak.
Yeah.
Like, is this girl who I'm going prom with gonna be the one? Like, obviously not, but that really inspired a lot of the tracks that I put on there. I was in a state of what am I going to do with my life? So a lot of it is, just some love songs, some sad songs, just kind of telling the story of, high school. It's
Absolutely.
high school.
Absolutely. And so, with that EP, the appetizer, let people know who Jalen Hooks is. You dropped a 9-track EP called Sad Truth. Talk a little bit about that.
Sad Truth, again, goes right back into what high school was for me. It would that was probably when I realized that music is really what I want to do. The sad truth is, I don't want to do this like normal everyday life forever. The sad truth is, I don't want to be stuck in a loop where I'm doing the same things over and over. I wake up, I go to job, and I go get money, go home, go to sleep. Wake up, go to work, go home, go to sleep. And I remember when I released that, I started something on Twitter where I would say hashtag the sad truth, and I would list a bunch of things that have happened to me in my life, a lot with what's going on in the song. And actually it picked up, and I wouldn't say it went viral, but it went local viral. Like, I had people from different schools all around us, different areas and cities all around us tweeting their sad truths. I had people who I've never even met, never even seen before, like, indulging a little bit of who they are, and it was just so mind-blowing to me that, like, I did that over Twitter. It's, like, amazing what I can do, like, once they hear the music,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Social media, especially for up-and-coming artists is it's a great asset. That's something that you need to be able to use, effectively, because that's where I first saw your face. That's where I first heard your music was, somebody reposted it, and it came up on my feed, and I said, okay, well, so, let me take a look at this. And then, so you went from the Sad Truth EP into the Little Black Book, and you call that, your first, like, major project. So explain that a little bit.
It's a little bit longer. I had recently, dropped out of school. Now we done. No, but I really recently just, like, stopped going to Ohio University, and I was like, all right, I want to do music full time. I want to completely indulge myself, get back into it, do it all the way. So I was like, all right, let me take my time, just take a step back and do a longer project. And that's when I created the Little Black Book. For those who don't know what a Little Black Book is, it's pretty much a black book with context for females. It's just a little black book of girls. And so this whole album is pretty much talking about girls that I've messed with or girls that I've came across in my life. It's telling you stories of how I was heartbroken. It's telling you stories of how maybe I was the person who was heartbreaking someone. It's just, it's something that is, again, heartbreak is the biggest thing. It tells a lot of, again, some more stories about me. It talks about, girls who I never really had a thing with, but, like, were my best friends at the times. Those are my sisters, There's references to, like, my mom, who was the number one woman in my life. And so, yeah, I dropped that out. It's a little bit longer. That's when people were like, all right, yeah, he's kind of cool. I like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, with that first major project where, you kind of sat back and you said, okay, I'm going to sit back now. Let me, let me work, let me lock in, let me get some real, solid product out. And then you decided to, start doing some covers.
Yes.
And you drop what we call a cover tape called Songs About Jay. So talk about that, what'd you do with it, and, how'd you make it your own? What'd you want it to sound like?
So in this moment, I am listening to all of Maroon 5. Everything is. Every day I am listening to Maroon 5. So Songs About Jay is to kind of cover the Songs About Jane album that they put out, which was a big influence growing up. Like I said, I would spend summers singing every song on that album, man. I loved it so much. And so Songs About Jay was again, another tape where I was like a little bit heartbroken. I'm trying to find stuff that really relates to me. So I found a bunch of Maroon 5 songs. I found some Party Next Door. And I found songs that this is how I'm feeling. And I created songs about Jay. It was perfect because, the album cover for Maroon 5 is like a girl, and it was songs about Jane, so it just worked out so perfectly that it was songs about Jay. And like I said, these are just a bunch of songs that I kind of really enjoyed singing and listening to, so I wanted to put them out there so that people could hear my voice on something else. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, all right, definitely don't want to put you on the spot here, but if you got a song that's stuck in your head, let's hear a little bit of some acapella, some vocals here. Let's hear a little bit of Jalen Hooks right now. What are you feeling? What are you trying to sing for us real quick? Little hook or something. What you got?
Let's see what I got here. All right, so lately I've been listening to some Camila Cabello.
Absolutely.
Super cold.
Absolutely.
She has this song, and it's called After All These Years. Nice song. It's a nice little acoustic song.
Definitely.
All right, yeah, let me go ahead and
tap into that real quick.
Your hair looks a little longer. Yeah. Your arms look a little stronger. Yeah. Your eyes just as I remember. Yeah. Your smile's a little softer. And I never prepared for a moment like that. In a second, yeah, it all came back. It all came back. 'Cause after all these years, I still feel everything when you were near. And it was just a quick hello when you had to go, when you probably will never know. You're still the one I'm after all these years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If y'all are feeling that, let me know. I don't know who's on right now. We gotta get the analytics up. You know what I'm saying? I love that, man. That's solid. I actually have not heard the song before, but I gotta check it out now. But I'm afraid I'm gonna like your version better.
Well, it'll be on the cover tape.
Cover tape. Let's talk about that. So you're telling me how you wanted to drop 4 projects.
4
by the end of this year.
By the end of this year, yes.
So we got this cover tape that you're coming up with now. So let's hear a little bit about that. What do you want to tell them about this new cover tape?
It's gonna be different. It's going to be songs that you're like, what? Like I'm doing a mash of "Love on the Brain" and "Tennessee Whiskey" by Chris Stapleton. So
that's gonna sound.
It's gonna sound good. And it's like wait. You're taking country and mixing it with Rihanna? How? Tell me how. How, Sway? And and so, I got some of that on there. I'll have, again, some of the female artists that I've been rocking with, like I mentioned earlier, some Party Next Door. I feel like he complements my voice a little bit, and so I really enjoy singing him as well. But yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be real nice.
Absolutely. And you're also working on a solo project. So,
yes.
What's the kind of, I noticed that, with these projects, you keep a lot of sequence, you keep a lot of order, whereas most things you hear kind of locally that, they're just not as structured and they're not as well, pieced and thought out. So, what's your vision? What's the avenue you're traveling on for this new solo project coming up?
So lately, a lot of my songs have been, a little bit sadder, more love songs. And I don't necessarily want to get away from that because that's who I am, But at the same time, I want something that people can really rock to, really vibe to, a little bit more upbeat, I'm at a happier place in my life than when I was writing all that other stuff, And I want to put out stuff that people are like, they hear and they're like, ooh, that's nice.
Absolutely.
Something that they hear and they already get that bop to it. They feel it. They're smiling,
Most definitely.
So yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit different.
So what's been, since I think January 2017, you dropped the Shades EP.
Yes.
That's the most recent project. Y'all can also get that on SoundCloud.
On SoundCloud, yes.
So you're saying you kind of changed, as an artist, but not only as an artist, as a person as well. You said you're in a happier place now.
Yes.
Things have been different. Things have been looking up. So what's changed since then? Just you as a so tell us a little bit about you. What's day to day? What are you into? What do you got going on? Day in the life.
A day in the life. It starts with waking up next to my beautiful girlfriend. Shout out to Amber. I absolutely love her and adore her, It started with getting over things in my past that I was dealing with, When I wrote Shades, I was in a deep, dark, depressive state. You'll see that those songs are very sad. But I knew that I wanted to use my sadness to propel myself out and pull as many people up as I can with it. So it started with just dropping it, man, just being happy, just loving who I was as a person, loving myself completely first. And once I did that, that's when things started looking up. That's when I started getting shows. That's when I ran into Amber. That's when, I started doing more and just showing my face and who I was kind of out in the public eye. And it wasn't fake. It was me. It was real. And it was just really nice to get myself to a position where I am the happiest that I've been. So
absolutely, man, absolutely, and that's great. That's great to hear with the with the new project. My thing is when I'm following somebody for months, years, things like that, I like to see kind of where they start, versus kind of where they not end but keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where they make that break. A lot of you'll see people that they reinvent themselves. They'll change their name. They'll do a new avenue of music. So you also have 2 collaboration tapes coming up by the end of this year. So talk about each of those. Who you're working with. What y'all are rocking on and things like that.
So the first tape, which actually was supposed to be released like end of August, beginning of September, with Kid Alley. It's a tape that we have been working on for like 2 years. It's called Too Good to Be True. And just due to some creative differences right now, we haven't really released it, just haven't gotten it out there to the people. But I'm hoping by the end of this year, we're on the same page, everything works out, and we put that out. I think it's something that's really nice. And if you've ever been to one of our shows that Red Rum here has DJ'd, we got a vibe, we got an energy to us. The second collab is with somebody who has actually never stepped foot or seen on the music industry before. It's one of my closest, dearest friends. His name's Alan. You wouldn't even expect it, but the man can rap. He writes, and it's really nice. And so we kind of want to go more towards a rapping album with that. So, like, whereas Tyler's and I, it would be like kind of us going back and forth, a little bit of rapping, a little bit of singing, the love songs. Alan and I are, we're talking that talk, we rapping a little bit. And so that'll be real nice. So those are the 2 collabs that I want to put out.
Absolutely. So if y'all are interested, you like what you hear, you like what you hear with the acapella that we got in the studio, you like what I played you earlier. We got some more music for you, but stay tuned. Check in. Jalen, why don't you drop the social media, how everybody can stay in touch with you besides just SoundCloud, of course.
Jalen Hooks 03. That's JALEN HOOKS 03. That is my Twitter, my Instagram, my phone number, my Snapchat, my AOL, my AIM. You can hit me on Yahoo at that. I will be there, I promise.
Y'all gotta reach out. So let's talk a little more. Let's talk a little more personal. Because the music and the creation is a real personal thing. So what's 5 things that you can't live without?
5 things that I can't live without. Man, I can't live without God. Every day in my life, I read my word every morning, or some period through the day. I read my scripture. I hold Him near and dear to me. It shows in the person that I am. I can't live without my mother. She is the backbone to my life. She is always there for me. She is right there. I cannot live without my beautiful girlfriend. So, you're not allowed to leave me. You're not allowed. So don't try it. I can't live without, my family and my friends, and I cannot live without music, period. It is the most important thing in my life. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have it. I know that's more than 5. Amber's over here counting on her fingers.
Absolutely, man. So, what is, what would you, you hear these questions, advice to the youth and, everything like that. So, what's just something that you keep instilled in you besides your word, of course, God's word, of course. But, what's just some things you try to live by, things you remind yourself of every day?
Stay positive. It gets hard. There are times when it gets dark. and it feels like you are drowning inside of your mind. Stay positive. It is the mantra to my life. It is the most important thing to me. I keep that very near and dear to me. I also keep Be a Rose real near and dear to me. For those of you who don't know, Tupac wrote a book of poetry. It was called The Rose That Grew from Concrete. And in one of his poems, obviously, there is the poem, The Rose That Grew from Concrete. And it pretty much just symbolizes and embodies strength. You know, keep going. This story is about a rose, something beautiful, precious, delicate, growing out of something so hard, so brutal. I have it tattooed on my forearm, you know. I have a rose growing out of the city of Akron, you know. And everybody always praises Bron, you know, the kid that made it from Akron. And, you know, that's where I want to be. I want to be, you know, another kid that made it from Akron, a rose that made it, that grew up, that made it out, you know.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Man, I'm loving the Pac reference. That was good. Not a lot of people know that.
One of my faves all time.
This is a smart man, y'all. All right, so let's talk about you know, besides your, you know, your musical influences and everything like that, other, like, you know, celebrities or actors even, or just music in general, you know, you want to stay that lane, just people that, you know, inspire you, just, you know, who they are as an individual that you haven't met before.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Why you say that?
I just think he's awesome.
He's a man.
I'm going to keep it honest. I think he is so cool. I just, like, if I could wake up in a day and be like Leonardo DiCaprio, that would be so awesome. A lot of people know him for his roles in films. Crazy actor. Amazing, talented, so very talented. However, not a lot of people know him for his activist work. Very, very, very active in, you know, PETA and just environment control, very active. Zendaya, I like her a lot. Again, very active. I really do look up to a lot of people who voice opinions on things when they have no business, when people are telling them to stay in their lane. Colin Kaepernick. People are telling him, stay in your lane. What are you doing? But he's voicing and he stands for what he believes in, and he's every day doing what he can to support his movement, you know, to support Black Lives Matter, to support, you know, the fight against police brutality. Vic Mensa, same, another artist. He's getting a lot of hate right now for Distant X and Adam 22, but another artist who every day, activist, doing something, Chance, doing something in his city to benefit, pull his people up. Like I said, I wanted to be a person who makes it out and pulls as many people up as I can, and these are people that are doing it.
Absolutely, most definitely, man. That's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to, you know, nowadays with the social media and the, you know, just the negative back and forth that, you know, kind of goes with that. It's really tough to kind of, you know, really stand strong and stand firm, you know, on what you believe in. And I liked how you talked about, you know, activism in the community and things of that nature.
Yes,
so,
sir. Which also brings me to voter registration.
Absolutely. Let's hear about it.
Go vote. Man, this is our future. This is our children. These, like, us right now control what happens in the next 8, 10, 20 years. Get registered. I saw a couple of different dates on when Ohio registration ends. I heard today was one of them. I heard the 9th might be one of them. I'm not sure what exactly it is. But if you still have time to register, no matter where you are, please register to vote. You know, it's so important.
Most definitely. Make sure y'all get out, register, and go vote. If you're like Kent State, you know, there's countless organizations, there's countless people walking around with clipboards. Get out there, make a difference. Jalen.
Yo, and go to my Twitter, Jalen Hooks 03. I tweeted out a link. It takes 2 minutes. You literally go on, you sign your name, your email, fill out a couple of information. It takes 2 minutes. Register to go vote. Go vote. And vote yes to issue 1. For
Absolutely.
those that don't know, it's decriminalization of, paraphernalia, substance abuse, drugs, and, you know, stuff like that. The reason why I say that is we have a lot of people who are dying, who are not getting the help that they need, whereas they're going to prison or jail let out to be right back onto the streets to do the same thing that they're doing, whereas these people need help, and sometimes court appointed is very difficult. However, it's better than having these people locked up, or the people who are in jail right now suffering and staying in there 20 years over some weed, which is now a booming business that people are making multi-millions on.
Absolutely.
Go
Absolutely.
vote.
Absolutely.
Go
We're about to wrap up here. Y'all got all the social media at Jalen Hooks 03 on everything.
Yes,
that's his phone number too. So make sure y'all check that out.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening, all of you. It's been a pleasure being around here with Red Rum, the DJ. I got to say shout out to my brothers, Josh, Jordan, the boys. Got to say shout out to NOB Lalo, the boy, Kid Hallie, yeah, Alan, yeah, all the boys, all the gang, everybody.
Yes, sir. Hey, and just while I got you here real quick, if you could give me just like a live read, I'm gonna throw it on next week. Something like that. Go ahead, take it away.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is Jalen Hooks, and you're listening to Red Rum, the DJ on Black Squirrel Radio.
Appreciate it, dog. Appreciate it.